We are welcoming in a guy who is as good as it gets on TV. He's a three-time Super Bowl champ. You see him now on Fox Sports. My main man, Mark Schlereth. What's happening, Mark? How we doing, bro?
John, I'm doing great, man. Great to be with you. I appreciate it.
Well, Mark, let's start here. We got a whole lot of fired up New York Jet fans listening to the show as we speak. What's your initial take on one Robert Saleh? You think the Jets going in the right direction with their head coach?
I love Robert Saleh. I tell you what, in my years now broadcasting games for Fox in the last 4 years, he has been one of my favorite people to talk football with. He is so passionate. He's such a great guy. And one of the things I love about him is he is one of those guys that's a complete and total responsibility taker. If my guys don't play well, that's on me. And I'll jump on that hand grenade. And as a player, man, you want to play for a guy like that. A guy that doesn't throw you out under the bus, in the media, in the public. A guy that will jump on all those hand grenades, so to speak. So he's a guy that I love. He's a guy that I just have really enjoyed getting to know over the last couple of years. And here's the other thing I love about the way he coaches, his approach. He's a keep it simple, stupid guy, right? We're going to play what we play, and we're going to play it better than anybody else. And everybody is going to be dialed into what their responsibility is so that they can play at full speed with their hair on fire. His big thing is all gas, no brakes, right? That's who he is. And I tell you what, you talk to anybody who plays for Robert Saleh, anybody who played in San Francisco for Robert, they love him. Man, they love him, and they go out and play their asses off for him. So I have nothing but the utmost respect for what he's done throughout his career and the way he handles himself as a man, but the way he handles himself as a coach. So I honestly, when he got that job, man, I was so geeked for him. And, I was so jacked for Jets fans because hell, I worked for years at ESPN where there was a lot of Jets fans, and, they're miserable. The Jets fans are miserable, and I understand why. So you got a good one. There's no question about that. He's a great man.
Obviously, Deshaun Watson's the number one talk of the town. I mean, I think everybody in the league, basically, Mark, wants to go and get him. But let's assume the Jets don't get him. Do you think Sam Darnold can be salvaged as a quarterback in this league?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I think you look at any quarterback. Listen, Matthew Stafford goes to the Rams. Matthew Stafford, people will sit there and say, hey, the win-loss record and all the crap that people talk about, right? Matthew Stafford is as talented as anybody in the National Football League at throwing a football. I mean, he is incredible. Arm talent-wise, I put Matthew Stafford right there with Patrick Mahomes and with Aaron Rodgers. I think that's how talented he is. He's as tough as nails, man. That guy takes a beating. And, it's interesting to me because people say, well, his win-loss records. No, I don't care. Like complete teams win football games. Do you know that in 12 years of starting for the Lions, 11 times he's had a guy rush for 100 yards.
It's
in
insanity.
12 freaking
insanity,
years.
Bro. Insanity.
Right. He's had a top 10 defense one time in the NFL. And in that 1 year, they went 11-5. You got to have that football team for a guy to have success. There are very few guys that can carry anybody or carry a team. If you don't have, we're all dependent positions, right? But at the quarterback position, if you can't protect and you don't have guys that can get open and you don't have a run game and you don't have other things you can lean on, it's really hard to win. Remember, Deshaun Watson, who everybody is, completely Twitter-pated over, he went 4-12 last year, right? Without a good team. He went 4-12. So, yeah, is Sam Darnold salvageable? Absolutely he is.
From a Rams standpoint, you mentioned Stafford. I love the trade. To me, they kind of hit their peak, Mark, with where they were going to go with Jared Goff. I think Stafford could get him to another level. Did you think that trade was worth it?
Absolutely. And I love the fact that, I've always believed in, and when I came up with Washington, Joe Gibbs, Bobby Beathard drafted me. Joe Gibbs was my head coach. They had a belief that we will trade unknown commodities for known commodities. Like, I'd rather have a player that I know can play in the NFL than a guy that I'm going to draft that I have no idea. Think about this. Do you know that there were 22 quarterbacks drafted from 2009 to 2016 in the first round? 22. How many are still with the original team that drafted them?
Wow, that's a great question.
One.
One. Holy
One.
moly. Damn,
There
bro.
were 22 first rounders at the quarterback position from 2009 to 2016. One remains with his team, and he got benched last year. It's Carson Wentz. So yeah, like everybody thinks that it's just it's hey, I got these draft picks. It's money in the bank, you know? It isn't. Like half the kids can't play. 50% of the first rounders are going to be busts. It's just the way it is. So I get a guy that opens up my Super Bowl window with the great defensive players we have, like Aaron Donald and Ramsey. Like I've got a guy that that is going to come in here and give me a chance to exploit that Super Bowl window. I'm taking it.
Mark, as we get ready for the Super Bowl, listen, normally it's like these storylines, you get sick and tired of them. It's 2 weeks. It's like, get me to the damn game, for goodness sakes. But at the same time, I think about this matchup, Mahomes and what he's trying to chase down over time. Brady, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. How stunned are you that at 43 years old, Tom Brady is still here playing in these Super Bowls? You know, Mark, I've said it like year in and year out. Oh, this might be the last one. You know, this might be the last one. I'm done with that, bro. Until I see Tom Brady ride off into the sunset, I'm done counting that guy out. I'm over it, bro. I'm over
Right.
it.
You know, it's been funny, man. I talked to him 4 times this year because I did 4 Tampa games. And it just fascinates me that there's so many people that are trying to write his obituary. And like I've watched him for the last 20 years. I have seen no discernible drop off in his throwing skills from 43 to 33 to 28. Like he's gotten stronger, and his talent is incredible. I think the thing that blows me away more than anything else is that he's not sated by his own success. Like that he still grinds. He's still like mentally he's sharp. He still is in it. He's studying. He's working. Physically, he's as good as he's ever been. It's just as fascinating to me because human nature would say, man, I've had so much success. I'm just going to kind of put it in cruise control. And that dude grinds like it's nobody's business. And by the way, he had the ultimate just absolute kind of humble flex. On Monday, they asked him about, how different it is doing Super Bowl Zoom conferences instead of being at the site. And he goes, yeah, it's way different than the first 9 times I was here. Like you talk about having a set of balls, right? Just being an absolute dick. I love it. I love the way he approaches the game.
Well, and you think about it, Mark, how much of this, the satisfaction of leaving the safe haven, that comfort zone in New England, people in the offseason, listen, I was taking calls on it. He's never going to win there. He's leaving Bill Belichick. You know this as a competitor. He's loving the fact that he got to this game before his head coach. I don't think there's any doubt, right?
Oh, he's the ultimate competitor, and he wants. It doesn't matter. Guys like that, you get to the NFL. It doesn't matter what you're doing. We can be washing dishes, and I want to wash them better than you. It's just the way a guy like Tom Brady is wired. You get to the NFL, you're just wired that way, and there's no question. He'll play humble, and he won't mention anything about it. But deep down inside, he's like Brady 1, Belichick 0. That's what motivates guys like that.
We got Mark Schlereth, Fox Sports, 3-time Super Bowl champion, joins us here on the Fan. Okay, Mark, biggest key for Tampa. They're going to win this game. They're going to slow down the best player in the sport, in Patrick Mahomes. What's it got to be?
I think there's a couple of things. One, you have to be able to affect Patrick Mahomes inside the pocket. Like you cannot let him get outside. You cannot let them go schoolyard. And so to me, containment, if you're blitzing in the middle, you got to have containment on the edge. You can't let him get out. They're going to blitz. They're going to pressure. That's what they do. They're going to try to jam receivers and basically disrupt routes and all those things. But you got to get to Patrick Mahomes and affect him inside the pocket. And that's easy to say. It's really hard to do. But that to me, like one of the things that I think about Patrick Mahomes is I always call it the 70-30 rule. 70% of the time you're on schedule, you're just managing the game. 30% of the time things break down as an offense, and that's when your quarterback has to go out and make a play. To me, I want to make sure that Patrick Mahomes is managing the game 90% of the time. I want to make sure that he doesn't get the chance to be, to go schoolyard and have those routes break and guys, short routes go deep and deep routes come back. I want to make sure I eliminate that stuff and just make him beat us essentially from the neck up. And we get him into the red zone. We mitigate some of the speed. We make him kick field goals. That to me is a huge key, because when he starts to scramble around and move around, that's when a guy can be draped along his legs. He can be falling down sideways, throw a sidearm pass 40 yards down the field and put an absolute dime piece on his receiver running at full speed. Like that, you can't, there's no defense for that stuff.
You played and won in this game 3 times. The Elway Super Bowl, beating the Packers. That's one of my favorite Super Bowls of all time. You're in the huddle. He goes for that helicopter. Are you guys saying, man, I love you? Are you saying, are you out of your mind? Are you just thinking there's no way in the world we're going to lose this game? Like, what was going through your mind as you watched that play?
What going through my mind is the sacrifice that you have to be willing to make to win. And to have a guy at that time, he's 37 years old, you're like, hell yeah. Like that, like there ain't no way we're losing this game. And we were playing really good football. But that's the feeling you get as you roll back to the huddle and you convert. That was a 3rd down and 6. And that's the feeling you get when you have that kind of sacrifice, guys willing to make that kind of sacrifice. And the other thing that was different about that time, I talked to players in today's game. A lot of them don't have a great sense of the history of the game. They grew up playing video games, and that's where they really learn their love of the NFL, right? We grew up, in my time, we grew up watching the NFL. So I knew the history of John Elway. I knew the history of the Broncos in the Super Bowl. So for us, it was really important not only to win the game because we were going to get a ring, but more importantly, for us, it was to win that game so John Elway could get a ring. Because we knew that history. And so it was a really important, that kind of team atmosphere was huge.
Mark, final one. Appreciate the time. What do you got cooking with Pathogen Solutions? I know you got a whole lot that you want to tell us about. So please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Pathogen Solutions is about getting us back into the game, right? Getting us back into stadiums, getting us back connected. I've been doing radio from separate rooms, and my host is in one room. I'm in another room. We're looking through a glass. I mean, I like to be connected, right? I like that sense of
I wish
community.
we were doing this in person, right? Not this Zoom nonsense.
Right. Exactly. So what Pathogen Solutions is doing, we're used to wearing the masks, washing our hands, and then we walk into the facility with our dirty shoes on, right? So they have created a shoe sanitizing unit. You stand on it for 8 seconds. It zaps 99.999% of all pathogens like staph, E. coli, coronavirus. So you're not tracking it into the facility. And, to get us back into the stadiums, to get us back connected again. They're using it down in Tampa during the Super Bowl at several different venues. Incredible technology. And I tell you what, it's like I said, it's about getting us back to normal. We're used to washing our hands and using the masks. Now here's another layer of safety to make sure that we can, interact together again in the near future. That's Pathogen Solutions. Check them out at path03gen.com. That's path03gen.com.
Mark, you are the man. Thank you so much for the time. I hope you're hitting them straight on the golf course. I know that you are. I don't have any doubt about that. And hopefully next year at this time, we're doing this in person. I know your living room and your kitchen looks nice, but I know you're sick of the bobbleheads already, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. We'll be back together next year.
There you have it. That's Mark Schlereth. Great stuff. Super Bowl champ.